Hi girls and boys, this week's online Bible story, as you know, was about Isaac finds a wife. And it was about how Abraham had faith to believe that his son would find the right wife to be married to. And he asked his faithful and obedient servant to go and find that wife from the land where Abraham was originally from. And if you remember the story correctly, there were three things that servant really wanted. And one was that he wanted to find the right lady, and he wanted to be sure of that. And he had to find a lady that was willing to come and live with Isaac as his wife, and that she would be prepared to leave her own family. And these were very, very big asks. And so that servant prayed by the well, as you know, and he said to the Lord, if I find the right lady, please make her the one. I'll know she's the one by her willingness to water my camels. Now, watering 10 camels is a big deal. It would have taken ages. So when Rebecca came and she offered to water his camels, he knew that that was an answer to his prayer. And I just want to tell you that God is faithful. He is always faithful. Nothing is impossible or too hard for God. And that's what this servant did. He prayed to God and he got his answer. And I just want to show you a little object lesson about that might help you understand it, and it's just a bit of fun as well. Now, to do this, you need mum and dad's help or an adult's help. You're going to need some disposable gloves, right? Or rubber gloves might do it. Look, we look a bit like a doctor here. And we're also going to need a nice big clear jar. All right, we're going to need a jug of water. We're going to need to pour the water into this great big jar. Now I'm going to use all of that water. Wow, that's amazing. All right, now see how we go. Now, the next thing you're going to need is some shaving cream. You're not going to need much of this. You just need a little bit of a squirt or two. All right, and this is how we do this experiment, okay? Whoop, I am putting a bit of crazy amount in, but anyway. Now, then you're going to need some food colouring, okay? And I've just got some normal food colouring here. There's no trick about that. Now I'm just going to fluff up my shaving cream a bit so that we can see that forms a nice barrier, okay? And this shaving cream, it's a bit like our minds, and how in our head sometimes we think things out, and we do too much thinking sometimes. So if you need to pray to God for something, you've got to sometimes put aside your natural thinking head and say, God, I believe that you're going to do what I need you to do, and I need a wife for Isaac. Okay, so that servant, he prayed. And this is just like his prayer going through to the Lord. See that? And he asked for a woman that would be the right woman for Isaac. He didn't know what she'd look like. He didn't know anything about her. Then he said, show me that she's the right woman by making her willing to water my camels. And that's a pretty big deal, as I said. It'd be a bit like filling up 10 great big petrol tankers with petrol. So that's a big deal. And then he wanted this lady to say, well, I'm going to leave my homeland and I'm going to move to a whole nother place to live with my new husband, who I haven't met yet. So that took faith, which means that you're trusting in something you can't see, but you believe, and that's what God wants you to do. And so these were pretty big things. Now there you go. They're the 3 big ones, okay? And then this man, this servant, he had one last thing that he had to do before he took Rebecca back with him. And that was, now any dad will tell you this is the scary one. He had to go and ask Rebecca's father if he could have her hand in marriage for Isaac and move to a whole nother town. So that was another big deal, all right? So we'll put a great big dark bluey one going in for that. And as you can see, all these requests were made to God. And God heard all this, and he responded by bringing the right woman at the right time. Rebecca came with her big water jug, offered to give that servant a drink and to feed his 10 camels water. So that was what he required, and then her dad said yes to her moving. So I just want you to remember that everything is possible, nothing is impossible for the Lord, and you can read about that in Genesis 18 verse 14. All right, so boys and girls, I hope you've enjoyed our Bible story, and I hope it's helped to make it clearer, and I hope you've had fun watching the colours going into our big jar. So do have a great week. We're going to be back next week. See you next time from Grandma and Grandpa. Bye.